Dear students, welcome back to our English class. We were dealing with the fourth unit, Dawn of Hope, in which the first lesson, the Jungle Aircrash. It's a narrative of Julian Kopke. We had seen that Julian Kopke and her mother started from Lima to spend the Christmas with their father in the jungle hut. And we know that Julian was just 17 who had completed the secondary school. So they wanted to spend a lot of time in the jungle where they carried out their researches. As Julian Kopke loved flying, they boarded Lhasa Airline Flight 508. And they started their journey. It was an excellent one in the beginning. People were chatting, enjoying, but suddenly everything changed. There was a violent shaking and the plane crashed. She heard her mother saying, "Now it's over," and the next moment she was flying down out of the plane and she can't remember anything. She just reached a jungle and became unconscious. So let's continue the story. Yes, it was daytime and the rain woke her up. She was under the seat which was upside down. There she didn't find her mother or any other passengers or the plane. She could hear only the sounds of the frogs and the rain. She had a bump on her head and a long deep cut in her foot. She felt no pain, but she wasn't able to move. She tried to gain energy, but it was a failure. She spent the whole night lying under the seat, half asleep, and was in a shock. The next day she crawled out, but everything seemed silly. Means she's losing her balance. She found a small package of sweets and a Christmas cake. She tasted it and dropped it back because it was wet of rain. Then she picked a long stick with which she can probe. Probe means she can investigate the ground to avoid snakes, poisonous spiders, ants, etc. Her parents had taught about the perils, that means the serious and immediate danger of the jungle, when they had lived in the jungle. At the time, they told that small snakes and insects are most dangerous than the big animals. She felt ahead, means can move forward, and so she started searching for her mother. She was very tired and she took rest after each step. This continues for hours, and at last she found a splashing sound of water. It was a tiny brook. She had the idea from her parents that when anyone lost in the jungle should find a stream, because streams can take them to larger streams. Rivers are the roads in the forest, and Indian tribes and white plantation people live on their banks. People can walk for kilometers along the bank, and it will be only 100 meters extra to reach their destination. But she was not able to walk, so she had to stay near or in the stream, as its banks were overgrown with tangled vines, and that made all her steps difficult. She had to wade through the water. Wade means walk without difficulty, because huge tree trunks barred her way and it was moving slowly, so it was easy for her to move through water. In films, nights in the jungles are attractive, but in real life it was really frightening. There was a rustling sound. Rustling means a soft sound of leaves, snakes, sometimes tarantula crawling over my legs. Tarantula means poisonous spiders. Even the air seemed poisonous by decaying trees. She slept fitfully. Fitfully means continuously. Now let me read for you. It was still night when the rain woke me up. I was lying under a section of 3 seats turned upside down. There was no sign of my mother or any other passengers or of the plane. All I could hear were frogs croaking and the rain. I had a bump on my head and a gash in my foot. I felt no pain, but I couldn't muster the energy to move and look around. Thus, I spent the whole night lying under the seat, half asleep in shock. The next morning, I crawled out slowly because everything swam dizzily before me. I saw a small package and opened it. It contained some sweets and a Christmas cake. I tasted the cake and dropped it. It was soaking wet and revolting. Then I picked up a long stick with which to prop the ground to avoid snakes, poisonous spiders, and ants. My parents had told me about the perils of the jungle in the years we had lived in it. That it is not the big animals that are the most dangerous, but the snakes and the insects. Feeling ahead with the stick, I started looking for my mother. I was so dizzy that after each step I had to rest. After hours of poking around, I heard gentle splashing nearby and discovered a tiny brook. My parents had impressed on me that when lost in a jungle, one should always look for streams and then follow them to larger streams. Rivers are what the roads are here, and the Indian tribes and the white plantation people live on their banks. Rivers in the tropical forest of Peru meander and circle. One can walk for kilometers along a bank and only advance 100 meters towards one's destination. But I had to stay near or in the stream. Its banks were overgrown with tangled vines, making every step arduous. Sometimes I had to wade through the water because huge rotten tree trunks barred my way. It was slow going. Nights in the jungle are attractive only in films. In real life, they are frightening. There was always a rustling somewhere, snakes. Something was crawling over my legs, a tarantula. Even the air seemed poisoned by decaying trees. I slept fitfully. Let us go through some unfamiliar words. Grasp means long, deep cut. Dizzy means losing one's balance. Probe, a thorough investigation. Perils, serious and immediate danger. Wade means walking without effort through water. Barred, closed along pieces of wood. Rustling, sound of leaves. So I hope the lesson is clear. Read the lesson till this paragraph. If there is any doubt, you can ask me. See you in the next class.